Having looked elsewhere at what e-commerce actually consists of, what are the important points about it, and how it differs from commerce, I'd like to take a look at a good product model and a service model and see how this in itself can be considered part of e-commerce. And in this way, part to push forward the argument that e-commerce is actually a fundamentally disruptive approach to delivering business and for making business deals. E-commerce, of course, is simply a way of using the internet to bring together buyers and sellers, but I think we can see as we go through this that it's actually more than that. And the traditional product model is being somewhat broken down. And for that, I'm going to introduce a consideration of something called the Augmented Product Model, a model which has been around for a few years and was introduced in marketing, and so actually predates e-commerce, but I think has a lot to say about the way we look at it. And also I think it's a good lesson in adapting models. It's a good academic lesson to learn how to look at an existing model and change it and synthesize a new model or new ideas out of it. So what can we look at and say about it so far? A augmented product has been enhanced by its seller with added features or services distinguishing from the same product offered by its competitors. Augmented products includes including tangible benefits or add-ons that go beyond the product itself. It fundamentally merges the concepts of service and products. It is often used to differentiate between standardized products. So for instance, you may have a product that looks the same, but in which there are other ways which we differentiate. So you differentiate between a basic model, not through any physical feature, but through the warranty, in-home installation, free delivery, etc. Some cosmetic companies may do it by offering free makeovers and travel size samples to encourage people to augment their products, to use more of their products. And of course, this has made it become very relevant in the development of e-commerce. And because this is the fact that it's allowing you to develop products that reach out beyond the physical, and that is, of course, is very much about the nature of e-commerce. As we'll see in other talks I give, we'll see how they're being able to package products, how you're able to use information obtained in one product in order to improve sales in another, etc., and deliver across the board for what customers need. There are basically, so to fill out what the three core there are three core elements of any product. There is the core, the actual, and the augmented. The augmented product adds features and services that distinguish it from the same or similar products offered by other sellers, is what we mean. That. And so for that we talk about the core product is not a physical object. It's the product's benefit to the consumer. This is one of the most important things to note about that. For example, a lipstick will make its buyer attractive, a pair of sneakers will make them healthier, a new phone will help them to communicate more efficiently, etc. It is the end use that they want. So it is the service at the heart of the physics. The actual product is the item for sale. Includes the unique branding, design, and packages attached to it. The actual product's features must deliver the core product expectation that consumers want for the product. A car, for example, should function seamlessly with all its features to deliver the core product and create customer value, which may be mostly about going from A to Z, but may also be related to image, etc. So that. And the idea, of course, is that the augmented product adds some features and services that distinguish it from similar products offered by the competition. The actual add-ons don't change the actual product. They may have a minimal impact on the cost of producing the product. However, an augmented product may have a perceived value that gives the consumer a reason to buy it. The added value may also allow the seller to command a premium price. Okay. I mean, this is one of the big things. So we're not changing the product as such. We're simply producing something that's slightly different that can increase specifically brand loyalty. So it may encourage people to buy in the future. So it may be ways of adding sales on them. So for instance, if you buy a certain car, maybe you'll become a member of a car club, or maybe you'll simply get more newsletters. If you enroll on certain online buying brands, for instance, you will get extra points. You may get rewards for if you buy more, etc. All these are a way of augmenting that may bring you back to work there in the future and to bring you back to make further purchases from the same supplier. So it is an important concept doing that. And it's, as with most things, let's have a look at it in the diagrammatic form. So at the center, if you look at it, we have a core customer value. So in the classic augmented product, what goes around the core customer value? Well, what goes around the core customer value, the actual physical product, is things like brand name, features. So it's a car, it might be how fast it goes, its fuel consumption, Your lipstick is what goes into it. But it might also be, for instance, cosmetics. It may be a little bit more than the basic products. It could be it's packaging, what it goes with, sort of that. It's the design, it's the way it's presented, which can include packaging. Do that, and it's the quality of the product that's put forward. So this is of great importance. Is the level of quality of the product. Doing that. These are the things that you're selling on that. And then you decide to augment it right around the outside. You put your augmented areas, which can include things like delivery, free delivery or special delivery. It can be an extended warranty. It can be credit, as in like the way it's sold, financing, etc. So obviously very keen in cars and things like that. And it can be advanced after-sales service, an after-sales service level that's improved. This after-sales service and also support. This may be more than just your basic phone up and get a repair, phone up and see what the warranty is doing and something like that. It can often be much more than that. And it could be, for instance, a club, a membership, a card that allows you to accrue points. It can be all sorts of things that maybe do that. It can be a badge. Famously, iPods with their white uh, headphones. They don't need to have white headphones. Famously, they will describe and said if you didn't use the white headphones, you're less likely to have your iPad stolen. You'll have your iPod stolen. But actually, people still prefer to have the Apple white headphones, even if it made them a target, because it so made them stand out. So these are important elements of the logic, perhaps, or lack of logic of the augmented products. So how can we bring that then into what there? Because what we're actually here talking about, of course, is e-commerce. Why is this? Well, the fourth industrial revolution is blurring the frontiers between the physical and digital realms. And this is going to be very important. So, for instance, manufacturers might need to certify raw materials for demanding environments. The e-commerce allows you to have much greater control over what's going in the supply chain. It gives you much more information about what's going in the supply chain. I mean, some of these are very things like building material for skyscrapers. If something goes wrong, you need to know where that material came from. Bulletproof glass, again, if something goes wrong, you need to know where it came from. Pharmaceuticals, if there's a problem with pharmaceuticals or food, packaging or withdrawal, the supply chains are incredibly complicated. E-commerce allows you, when you're augmenting the product and having to buy things out from various places, then it's possible that you can actually need to be able to find out where your product is coming from. You need to guarantee product lots traceability. And it can also allow you to do things like obtain feedback and reviews from your customers. You can actually, this can be useful as unstructured data, but then you can use text mining to find out more information about it. So it's obviously because customers are expecting greater knowledge of their interests. Okay, you can give automatic discounts via certain cards. If you use a certain credit card, you get a discount with the shop without never even knowing you're getting the discount. And that these can be secret vouchers that are built into your credit cards, etc. And there are, I mean, on one side there can be like seeing the ridiculous way, for instance, companies like to be able to track light bulbs. If light bulbs are failing regularly, they need to know which factory. The complex supply chain, not everything will be made in the same factory, possibly not everything will be made in the same country. It's important to know exactly what's doing that. But more seriously, I mean, users these days might be fussed about various information. They may be concerned about the way things are produced. So it could be clothing factory fires, or the clothing itself could be dangerous alongside the factory disasters. So the importance of ethical supply chains. E-commerce allows the consumer to reach into and see into your supply chain and contact your supply chain. So it's very important for your good, the greater good, that you can actually make sure you know where everything's coming from. Which brings us on to another important element of e-commerce inside the augmented product, which is user-generated content. We've always had a little bit, for instance, with clubs, etc., and societies may be related to certain products, that you were able to use user-generated content. But nowadays, with the sheer quantity of online reviewing, online generation, in the IT world, you get modifications. In many computer games, people write their own little modifications to provide new skins or new characters or new scenarios to be played through, etc. Using the generated content, which will show their interests and desires for you, that you can look at and feedback and get more information throughout the supply chain, can help you, which of course is creating transparent and not opaque supply chains. Okay, so people want to be able to look into the supply chain and see where things are coming from and see where things are going and be able to make decisions on what they're going to buy. So how then extend this theories to e-commerce? Well, put simply, there are quite a number of ways in which it can be done. As we've noticed before, the augmented products, it's very important to be able to put new theories and models together building on the old ones. We call this synthesizing new theories for new environments and new ways of operating, new things are doing gone there. And I think the augmented products have been a very successful and powerful model, and the way to intertwine the understanding of service and products to do that. And at its most basic, you can see that the way things are going forward, e-commerce can speed up this process. E-commerce allows you to reach into a supply chain and see where you can substitute products and suppliers into the supply chain grid. Any company knows that this information flow that e-commerce is allowing gives greater potential power to buyers and suppliers. So customers and companies, they need to augment greater use of their products. One example of this has been in exporters. And the use of e-commerce has been creating new opportunities for exporters to improve current ways of doing business and influence the development of competitive export marketing strategy. In turn, the diffusion of e-commerce-based technologies requires firms to just differentiate themselves and their products, to establish and maintain relationships with their customers and partners. In order to be competitive, exporters need to employ technologies to develop low-cost customer prospecting methods, efficient international trading processes, and close relationship with customer partners around the world. For a greater understand the influence of e-commerce and export operations needed. The fact that e-commerce is reaching out, allowing what previously maybe had been basic products and products only still available locally become worldwide products. And then, having said this, we synthesize a new theory. We take augmented product, we introduce e-commerce, and we come up with a concept put forward by Heller of augmented commerce. The e-commerce augmented product facilitation industry allows clothes protected onto bodies, for instance, and online designs of buildings. So what does it look like? Well, at the heart, it has its saying the core customer value. What is the customer looking to do? It's immediate around that. It's a real product. You can have things like virtual reality, so you can visit an unbuilt building. You can go up to a theme park, or you can go visit somewhere online you've never actually been to. You can go sit in a car. You can go have experiences you want to do there. You can maybe then adjust it. You can maybe, if you're designing a basic design your own kitchen, design your own house, so design a building, you can go in and you can make adjustments. You can look and see what it has. You can get information overlays. So that if I change this design of the building here, how much extra is it going to cost me? Is this going to be cheaper? What if I change this material for this material? They can give you information overlays on cost. They can give you information on safety. They might say you can produce that material will be cheaper, but it will require you to have higher fire regulations, etc. Doing that, and the customer can be directly involved in doing this. The consumer can sit in the seat, for instance, if they're wanting to look at what's happening in maybe going to a sporting event or a music event or something. They can see what's going on, and you can individually customize it. You can build a model of your own body. You can put it online. You can have clothing projected onto it. You can then redesign the clothing. You can design your own sneakers, for instance, on certain places. You can add to your own foods and have them delivered, etc. There are all sorts of different ways of doing things that are very important. This individual customization. And of course, then if it's the basic product, the basic for augmented commerce, what do we have in the augmented product of it? That we have ongoing interaction. We have customer involvement beyond just paying the money and taking the good away. We have long-term live interaction where a customer can be part of a discussion group, part of a board, and you know what your customer's thinking, not just now, not just tomorrow, but all the time. A fundamental problem sometimes with business has been what is called buyer's remorse. And many people who buy any product of any value will find after a bit, no matter how much they're enjoying it, they tend to think, oh, I should have bought something else or something like that. This is a way of dealing with that. It's a way of keeping customers actively involved in delivering that. After sales service can be live. You can talk and something. It's some electronic device. You can actually have somebody log on to it, or you can connect to it and can tell you if there's a problem with it. And this is part of a live support system and continuous updates. So you can continuously have your product being improved even after you've bought it. This can be part of a free service for a number of years. It can be ongoing. That's certainly with software. You often find that for several years it's done and it's all free until they decide they no longer do it. And you have real-time delivery. You can buy a film and you don't have to wait for a DVD to arrive at the post. You can download. You can buy music and get immediate access to it. So augmented commerce is the meeting of commerce and the augmented product model, and it's a way of keeping perhaps on the product life cycle. You expect products and services to go in decline for a number of years. By using augmentations, you can actually boost the life cycle. You can pause the decline and keep the thing working longer and be desirable longer for marketing purposes.